Chapter 26. Martin Grimes is in hospital and Richard is now missing. Yes, ma'am. Cassie was close to the edge. She swallowed hard and cleared her throat. Wen ran her fingers through her hair. What the hell is going on, Cassie? To mislay one police officer's bad luck, but two? That's just ridiculous. She pushed herself up from her seat. Where does Richard usually park his car? Wherever there's a space, ma'am. Sometimes on the street. You know what the parking's like around here. Let's take a look at the car park CCTV. If he was parked on the road, we'll have to see if anything has been captured on the street cameras. Together they looked at the footage. Sure enough, they could pinpoint Richard getting into a pool car in the staff car park and driving off at 10:20 p.m. Get his plates circulated, said Wen. I want all uniformed officers to start looking on the route from here to the Benson unit. Did we get the information from the unit? Yes, we did, Cassie replied. The manager gave me names, dates of birth and contact details, and he's sending through case notes as we speak. I want everyone on that list visited straight away. Can I leave that to you, Cassie? Cassie nodded. Good. I want to get back to our guests downstairs. With a little help from Jake, Cassie logged onto Richard's computer to look for anything connected with Martin Grimes and the Benson unit. Over the phone, the unit manager had given her the names of 6 former inpatients who attended the same courses as Martin Grimes. None of them meant anything to Cassie, so now she was searching for any sort of lead to help her, to prioritise the house calls. Those would take up a lot of time and resources, and right now they were acutely short of both. Nothing jumped out at Cassie from Richard's input. She was just about to close the file down when she saw a note about the creative writing teacher. Call Asgard once I have impatient names. Says he might have more info then. Cassie stabbed in the attached telephone number and tapped her pen, waiting for her call to be answered. Eventually, it went to voicemail. She tried again. Still no answer. Right, one more go and I'm getting the locals to go round there and kick the door in, she said to herself. Hello, what's so fucking important that I have to be woken at this hour? Cassie was relieved to get some sort of response, even a bad-tempered one. Is that Mr. Asgard? Yes. I'm sorry to disturb you, sir, but this is a matter of some urgency. My name is Detective Sergeant Roden, and I work for the Cheshire Serious Crime Squad. Oh, yes. One of your men came to see me about Martin Grimes. Yes, sir. D.C. Jones. You told him to contact you again when he had names, and you might be able to help further. I did. A pause. And do you have them now? Cassie could almost hear him lick his lips in anticipation of his role in this investigation. Yes, sir. If I read out the names, can you tell me if anyone rings any alarm bells? Cassie referred to her notes. Alan Grove? No. Peter Rosenblum? No. Damien Anderson? That's the one. I remember the others, of course, but he's the one Martin adored. If Damien had told Martin to jump off the roof, he would have done it without a moment's hesitation. Right. Thanks for that, Mr. Asgard. It's really helpful. Oh, but that's not what I was going to tell your colleague. Again, there was a gleeful sound in his voice. He was enjoying this. No? The staff of the unit could have told you that, and probably will. No, I have something more. Cassie sighed. If this man was going for a dramatic effect, it was wearing thin. And this was? Damien Anderson had a real gift as a writer, so I gave him the name of my agent. I thought that sort of talent should be encouraged. And? Big mistake. How so? Dora called me about 4 weeks ago and gave me a real dressing down. She was furious. Why? Why? Because I'd given her name to a psychopath. Her words, not mine. Apparently, he'd sent her some work which she wouldn't touch with a barge pole. Too dark and brutal for her. But he didn't take rejection too well. He started threatening her, and I think it really frightened her. And what happened? It just stopped. She told him she'd report him to the police, and that worked. Can you give me her contact details, please, Mr. Asgard? I think I need to talk to your agent myself. Mr. Lowry, how are you now? Wen asked, playing for time, as she sized up her opponent. Not the very nervous man she had wanted to question, but the legal representation now sitting beside him was known to Wen. She had heard of Penelope Milton, but never had any dealings with her. This was about to change. Ms. Milton looked as if she was in her late 30s, small but perfectly formed, with a pear-shaped face and short red hair that made her look a little like a ginger cat. Considering she had only been called 20 or so minutes ago, she looked immaculate and had a full face of makeup. Nothing garish. This was so subtle it was almost natural. Apart from the bright red lipstick on her very full lips, Wen wondered where the Botox ended and the plastic surgery began. David Lowry gave Wen a contemptuous look. Can we just get on with this? I want to go home and get to bed. He folded his arms and turned slightly towards Penelope, away from his prosecutors and towards his saviour. Can you tell me where you were between 8 o'clock and the time my officers arrived at your house, please? I was at home getting pissed. When was the last time you saw Detective Constable Rebecca Wainwright? What? Who the hell is that? Lowry hung his head, as if it was too heavy for his neck to support. You know who I'm talking about. Our detective. She came to see you a few days ago about one of our cases. Penelope Milton interjected. I don't like your tone, Detective. My client is not well enough to be interrogated like this. It's Detective Inspector to you, Ms. Milton, and this is an interview. I think you'll find the Secret Services are the ones who carry out interrogations, and this is an interview. It's okay, Penny, I'll answer the question. Yes, someone did come, but I see lots of people. How do you expect me to remember them all? I think you'd remember her. Petite, blonde, just your type. What happened, David? Did you turn on the charm? Didn't it work this time? Did she reject you? Enough! This line of questioning is not acceptable. Penelope Milton hit the desk with her hand. Wen completely ignored her. Where is she, David? I don't know who you mean. Wen pushed a photo of Becky towards Lowry. Oh, her, he said. Yes, her. Remember her now, do you? Yes, now that you've shown me her photo. Lovely girl. Lovely. Wen banged her fist on the table and both David Lowry and his brief jumped. I'll ask you again, David. Where is she? He moved his chair back, trying to distance himself. I don't know. I must protest, Detective Inspector. The way you're talking to my client is unacceptable. Have you got any evidence? Either you charge him or we are leaving. Ms. Milton, your client has a history of soliciting young women for sex. He has been physically aggressive in the past, and he had the key to my detective's house in his possession. Had the keys. Had! Cried David Lowry. We've been through all this. Wen pushed the evidence bag forward. For the recording, I'm showing Mr. Lowry evidence item 243A. Do you recognise these, sir? No, never seen them before. Once again, Lowry looked down at his feet. That's strange, because my officers found these in your house when we searched it. Well, they're probably just old keys I've kept from previous places I've lived. Maybe, said Wen, but one of them is the key that fits the front door of Becky Wainwright's house. A key you already admit to having had in your possession at one time. He looked at his solicitor for advice, and she whispered into his ear, then straightened up. My client has no comment to make about this, and I would like to consult with him before this interview goes any further. Penny Milton smiled at Wen. Wen carried on regardless. Oh, and then there's the dodgy writing. She glared at Lowry. Isn't there? What about my writing? I've got nothing to hide. I'm part of a crime writers group, if that's what you mean. Do you share all your work with the group? What about the stuff you shared with your second wife? The stuff you put on the dark web? Penelope Milton put her hand on David Lowry's arm. Say nothing, David. But he was on his feet. What? What the hell are you on about? The second Mrs. Lowry was sickened by what she read. She said it was the work of a madman. David Lowry laughed. Oh, she's a wimp. Couldn't even watch a horror film without feeling sick. Come on, Inspector. You know as well as I do that crime fiction can be disturbing. What I write is nothing compared with what actually happens. Look at these 2 murders you've got on your books. I mean, that girl had her eyes gouged out, for God's sake. And how do you know about that? He looked uncomfortable. I read it in the papers. That's strange, Mr. Lowry, because we didn't give out that information. So, how do you know? I don't know. Someone must have told me. Lowry squirmed. At last she was getting somewhere. Lowry squirmed and his solicitor looked at him. Now to press home. Wen took a deep breath to go in for the kill, and her phone pinged. She glanced at it. A text from Cassie. He's not our man.